Hello. Okay. Over here, got the button pushed down. Good lord, kind of rookie stuff are we on over here? What's happening, folks? Uh, like I said, I gotta shoot vegan the link one more time, real quick, and then get them over here. Send this email out. Everybody have a chance to get in here so we can hang out. Um, I got a presentation put together on this one that I want to share with everyone. Where is this thing? There it is. It's good. Let me get over here, turn this down a little bit. I'll let the folks in the chat. All right, we can hear now. Good stuff. I see Manny Pinocchio in the house. Ridicule without research. Yeah, let's not do that. Bible Book Club. What's up, Westside Woo? What's good? What's good? Omni Watts, Seth Bop in the house. Dwayne Morton. What up, Aaron Stevens? I see you. Appreciate you. Trying to get this email sent out to my man. You know what I'm saying? All right. But yeah. Okay. All right, bro. If you're in the link, or if you're in the chat, you got the link now. I just emailed it to you. All right. I spot NASA Lies. Hey, Candy, hadn't seen you in months. What's going on? Scent Mac, what's good? Green Tea. Chevin Fisher, FE Diplomat. Always good to be diplomatic. Just another Cuber. What's happening? All right. Gartrell McKinney in the house. Appreciate you. Hey, Kim. Kim the Goddess in the house. Jesse C. Zachary Robinson. Light Out of Darkness. Jai Warrior. Jay Legacy. All right. I might skip some folks. Brian David. Let me see. Let me get down here. All right. I'm glad everybody had a chance to get in here. Yes, I know. The moon is supposed to be in our atmosphere now. That sounds like soft disclosure. Let me know if I'm if I'm too loud. Let me know what my sounds are like out here. I don't want to be too loud. I went back and listened to another stream. I was kind of loud on that one. Don't want to blow anybody's eardrums out, but you can always turn me down. It's a lot easier to turn me down than to turn me up, right? So yeah. Okay, good stuff. Kim said it's good. That means we're good. All right, we off to another song. Don't want to get a copyright Eminem playing in the background. So anyway, just wanted to get in here and have this discussion because we have it's a lot of varying views out here in the community as far as we all know it's flat. We all know that, but there's you know uh, uh kind of differentiation in how people see or approach the flat earth topic. There's people who believe in the dome, believe in the ice wall. There's people who do, and people who don't. And we're just trying to have a open discussion about that. Just you know, to try to come to a better understanding of both sides, because it's necessary to try to keep peace to a degree in the community. All right, what's up, Vegan? You on, man?
Yeah, it was good, brother.
Oh, okay. Hey, man, I've been working for the last day and a half trying to get this presentation right, man. But just trying to chat about this thing.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I've always told you I don't mind talking about this. I mean, and you'd be surprised if I actually let out what I believe, how much I believe versus what I feel we can actually prove and should move forward with. You know what I mean? It's two different things.
right.
You
And that's kind of the approach that I try to take with most things. If we have enough information on it, I like to form a conclusion based off of that. Like, not so much just believing something just because somebody said it or because it was written somewhere, but what can we conclude based on what we know. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my thing.
Okay.
And all right. So let me see now. Oh, you just gonna jump right in?
Sure.
Chat. All right, cool. Okay. So let me see. Let me get over here. I'm gonna close out this desktop or move this over to the end. All right, get back over here. Let me share my screen. We'll talk about what's the first thing? Shoot. We'll talk about the dome first. And
Okay.
just go over these things. And okay. Complete desktop. Present to everyone. All right. So hopefully this thing doesn't crap out on me. All right. So here's my little presentation. I'll play this thing. All right. So this is just us talking about the dome and the ice wall. Okay. Um. So what we know as far as the dome, there's that Go Fast rocket. We all saw that hidden, something. NASA can't penetrate the Van Allen radiation belts. NASA article on a man-made barrier, sundogs, and the properties of rainbows. All right, so I mean, we've all seen this particular video. I'm not going to play the video because everybody's seen it for the most part. So, this was the Go Fast 2014 rocket. It was fired, I believe, in like Nevada, and it got up to an altitude. It was said of about 72 miles high, and suddenly came to an abrupt stop, and it didn't hit a solid barrier or the rocket would have been crushed and the cameras probably would have malfunctioned. But it did come to an abrupt halt. Like all angular momentum stopped, all linear momentum stopped. For the most part, it was spinning pretty fast, and then all of a sudden, pew, it just kind of stops and then starts to spin slowly. We hear this audible sound. It sounded like it was underwater. So what was your thoughts about that? That
Um,
that particular video.
I, I've seen it in the past. I just didn't. I just never seen it as conclusive evidence of a dome. You know.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what to say. I seen it. It looks interesting. I don't see how it proves a dome though.
Okay. Well, my thing is, it just seemed to hit something. Like we could call it a ceiling. Maybe not even a dome, but some sort of ceiling. Like something's up there that it bumped into that kind of stopped it. Like I don't know. So there was that. Um, then I mean another thing we've all seen was this video has been. I've used this clip. Saw it in ODD video. There's been countless other flat Earth videos where there's this NASA engineer who discusses. He's talking about Orion, the Orion spacecraft, and how they're looking to put together these building block components and all that to you know enable them to be able to pass through the Van Allen radiation belt, one time going out, one time coming back. Is what this guy was talking about. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like and also, there's the idea of if they haven't figured out how to pass through the Van Allen radiation belts, then I mean, how exactly did they go to the moon 6 times?
Right.
So
So
there was that.
The Van Allen radiation belts. That that what is that supposed to be exactly?
As described by NASA, it's some dangerous uh, area of radiation where I mean they just don't haven't figured out how to navigate that thing.
Right. So it's supposed to be radiation that's coming from the Earth.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
they're saying. Like based on the Earth's magnetism, I believe.
So this radiation goes through us, through our atmosphere, and circles the globe.
Yep, basically.
Okay, and that's the part that makes it sounds like BS to me. If we're actually living on a ball and this deadly radiation is resonating through the crust from the core of the earth, through the crust of the earth, through all of life, and going all the way up to outer space, that don't make sense to me. Basically, we're living in a microwave oven. That's what it sounds like. And I think the ideals of the Van Allen radiation belts have not been challenged thoroughly, in my opinion.
Uh,
If there is a radiation belt around the globe, it would probably be from the outside onto the Earth, but not within our atmosphere. Because if you say it's within our atmosphere, you got to ask the question: why aren't we exposed to that radiation in our own atmosphere?
True
And
story.
if we're not exposed by it, how did it get past us through our atmosphere to encompass the entire Earth? I think it's
Right.
more sci-fi that they've created, in my opinion.
I can agree with that. And then to add on to the inquiry, why is it that there's only this extreme source of magnetism or radiation, and in all their illustrations they always show it coming from the North Pole? You
Right.
know, like how is that the central point on Earth? Like if this is a globe, and I mean, is it what is the North Pole closest to the surface? I mean, or closest to the core, this magnetic
Right.
core where this radiation and magnetism and all that's supposed to be coming from. I mean, that's. I mean, why not? Why isn't it coming from the South Pole? Why isn't it coming from right around the southern tip of Australia or something? I mean, how is it that it just happens to be coming from the North Pole? With
Exactly. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
And a lot of flat earthers use this as evidence that one, there is a dome, and two, that it's um, proof that we didn't go to the moon.
Hmm.
But I got to beg the question: where is this radiation belt coming from? If you say it's coming from the center of the Earth, I think you're falling for the globe Earth claims. You know, if you say that there is a Van Allen radiation belt, you also have to support the idea that it's actually a globe, and then you have to support the idea that they know what's at the center of this globe Earth. And I don't think there's no evidence to support that.
Right. Well, my approach as far as talking about that, and I can only talk about me personally,
Right,
is I'll reference the Van Allen radiation belts along the lines of um yeah like it doesn't make any sense for there to be the Van Allen radiation belts, and people use that as a let me see, as a sort of proof that there is a dome, because it makes absolutely no sense. It's like them calling the dome another thing. That's the way I take it. Like they're I mean, it's kind of like admitting that they can't get through the dome by calling it the Van Allen radiation belts. But
right, right, right. Um,
it seems like justification or just another excuse. I could
right.
be wrong. Been wrong before, but it is
No, it's
what it
all,
is.
we're just talking. I mean, we're just laying out different ideas. I was
Yeah.
reading Elisa Hughes's comment in the chat. She says the Van Allen radiation belt is from the solar wind and held in place by the Earth's magnetic field. She says she believes, she's not sure. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right to me. See, if anything is resonating from the center of the earth, we have to keep in mind it has to come through us before it can get to outer space. So, whatever this powerful force is coming from the center of the earth, it is not affecting life on the plane or on the planet. If it's not affecting life on the planet, yeah, you can shoot a rocket ship through it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, we got to really watch what we say and try to make sense to the things that we believe. You know, I'm not saying we should throw our beliefs away, but our beliefs should match reality. The radiation belts, if it's coming from the center of the earth, is coming through all of life on the plane. So if you
Yeah.
say, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing. It's like if it's coming from the earth, we should all be engulfed in it, basically.
Right.
So why is it that it only affects out in space? Like I don't get that one.
Right.
So
And
I feel you, man.
and it travels thousands of miles up, and it don't. I don't know. I don't see how we can model that.
Nah. Well, I'm saying. Okay. So there was that on Van Allen radiation belts. I'm saying it's just a discussion. I'm trying to figure this stuff
Oh yeah.
out too.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let me see. So then there was this ridiculous um article from NASA. And this is NASA saying that NASA's Van Allen probes spot a man-made barrier shrouding Earth. Now, how is it? How is it that men were able to get out to out that far away from the Earth to create a barrier surrounding the Earth? Like how does that work?
Yeah, one of NASA's sci-fi claims. What do they mean? They mean that they created something, or they found something that men prior to them created.
Look, I really don't know. I really don't
When
know what's going on with that.
when they said man-made, I mean, if they didn't do it, who had the technology before them? Are they trying to imply aliens?
I don't know. I
Hmm.
guess so. I mean, but they're calling it specifically man-made.
Right,
So I mean that doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make any sense right there.
right. Because
Man-made barrier surrounding the Earth.
yeah, because who has had throughout human history more tech than them? Nobody. I mean, if it's a man-made barrier up there, I think they're trying to imply aliens.
Yeah, and yeah, that's basically what they do because that's the agenda that they push. The whole idea of aliens seeded the human race as we see from like the ancient aliens, things like that. You
Exactly.
know, and that's the type of stuff that they promote. You know,
Well,
aliens seeded the human race. We evolved from monkeys and whatnot. Is some nonsense.
we got into a big debate on some of the other YouTuber channels, and the argument has been: did the ancients have tech that we are unaware of? Maybe they created the barrier. I don't know if there is one. I
Right.
mean, I don't fall for that. I don't necessarily believe that, but if there's people, especially in the flat Earth community, that believe that stuff. They believe that the ancients had the power to travel um, intergalactically, and that they could project and do different things. I mean, so they can be implying the ancients set up a man-made barrier. I don't know.
Right. I'm saying. Looks like there's a lot of trolls on duty tonight.
Oh yeah,
Hmm, I like it.
they don't like this topic. They don't want us talking. They want us fighting. They like us better when we're fighting.
Yes, they do.
Mm.
But sorry, I got moderators that are on point out here, so we're all good.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's cute. Thanks, trolls. Letting us know what topics you get triggered by. Appreciate that.
absolutely.
Let me see. Okay. So what else we got? Then there's sun dogs. I mean it's like there's different points on Earth where the sun will be rising or in the sky, and you'll kind of see where it looks like the sun's reflecting off of something,
Right.
per, perhaps something.
Are you in reference to this picture where it kind of looks circular?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that.
All right.
All right. So then there's rainbows. There's
Yeah, this
something.
is your favorite right here.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. We gotta talk about the rainbows, man.
Right, right.
Yeah. All right, so I mean, it's basically the sun makes rainbows when sunlight passes through raindrops. The raindrops act like tiny prisms. They bend the different colors of white light, so the light spreads out into a band of colors that can be reflected. I should have capitalized this word "reflected" here, back to you as a rainbow. So the question is, reflected off of what?
Right.
And I mean, there's a lot of folks who prescribe to the infinite plane idea. So if there's an infinite plane, then I mean that would kind of mean that the ceiling would also have to be, uh, in correspondence to that, meaning that the ceiling's like flat, basically,
Hmm.
in my opinion. Or whatever is reflecting the light, in my opinion, would have to take the shape of the dome.
Okay. So the existence of rainbows, in your opinion, is evidence that it's reflecting off something, and that something is an oval shape.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And
So
yeah.
so what would create a reflection? Would it be because we in our world we know it would be a mirror, right?
Hmm.
Glass, right?
Yeah.
And you think possibly it could be a mirror or some form of glass that we just have not reached.
I couldn't say. I mean, just the same as the light passes through the water particles and creates that effect. I mean, it could be reflected off of water, like the folks that use scripture to back up their beliefs in the dome would say that it's reflecting off the waters above, as written in Genesis. So I mean, that's another part of that.
Let's put that in perspective. We know, and correct me if I'm wrong, or someone in the chat think I'm saying something wrong. Correct me, please, because I don't profess to be an expert in any of this stuff. But we know that rain comes from clouds, right?
Yeah.
Rain clouds, right? So when it rains, the rain is falling from the clouds. This dome like surface is way above the clouds, I would assume. I
Hmm.
guess the question would be how can you get a reflection on something so far away? Meaning the distance from clouds versus where the potential ceiling would be. Wouldn't it be it would be kind of difficult to get that type of reflection because of the mere distance of the dome from the clouds. What you think?
I'm thinking that it has to do with our individual perspective based on where the sun is, where you're standing on the ground or in the air. In the case of these guys, skydiving, that like this random variable says in the chat, the focal point is closer. So we all see the sun from different angles, just like we see the effects of the sun from different angles.
Okay.
So, so I mean that would be my idea behind that.
Okay. So depending on where you are on the plane will determine if you see the rainbow or not. Basically, what you're saying.
Yeah, because
Okay.
actually it rained today, like right after work. Oddly, I was coming out the office. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a good stream. Let me go finish up the little last touches on this presentation. It's gonna be a good time. And I come outside. It rained most of the day, and then I'm coming out. The sun's behind me, and then I look out in front of me, and I see a rainbow, but it's not a complete rainbow. It's just like a rainbow from one part, one area, and then it like fades off. So it's just a matter of, and I'm thinking that somebody that might have been further to the west, or like a few miles to my left, I'll say to my left from there, that you know, they wouldn't have been able to see that particular rainbow because they were a little bit further away. Perhaps they wouldn't have had the same amount of moisture in the air from where they are. So I believe it's about individual perspective.
Mm, okay. So I'm just trying to wrap my mind around this. We have a high ceiling that's extremely high. We have clouds that are closer to the plane. We have rain, and then we have the sun rays coming outside of the globe. I mean, outside of the dome, reflecting off of the dome down towards the plane, giving that effect of a rainbow. Is that the way you see it, or I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it?
All right, wait, say that again.
Dome plus sunlight plus rain clouds gives you the effect of the rainbow.
Or just moisture in the air. Like it had said, like there has to be sufficient moisture in the air, like the rain droplets, or just like if there's, you know, the small misty little drizzle or whatever. And then if the sun's shining, you know, beyond that,
Hmm.
then I believe that's those three things that play into this. There's got to be sufficient moisture in the air. There's got to be a light source, that's the sun, and then something reflecting the light back through the moisture in the air.
Okay.
And this right here kind of threw me for a loop when I first saw it, because it looks like these guys are, they're obviously above a rainbow, and it's circular. It's a 360-degree rainbow, and to me that indicates that whatever the light's reflecting off of is it's a circular mirror. Basically, whatever is reflecting the light back is circular, so it makes sense to me that it will be light reflecting off of, you know, something to create that effect.
Hmm. Would you say that that rainbow is above the clouds?
From their perspective, it would appear to be so. Yeah.
Okay. And from the ground, oh, you're just going to see a partial rainbow.
Yeah, it depends on how high up you get, because also seen a video where somebody took video of a rainbow, and they were like on a bridge, and they looked off to the side, and it was like a 360 rainbow from this bridge, and it's like it was a really high bridge,
Hmm.
and it was 360. It was weird. It was weird.
Hmm. That's definitely one to think about.
All right. So that's all I got on the dome.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
you're not going to talk about the so-called testing by the governments and shooting up rockets and possibly. I mean, how much truth is into that statement? I know I hear different flat earthers talk about that.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Operation Fishbowl.
Right. Is that what it's called? Operation Fishbowl?
Yeah.
Fishbowl? Is that official or is that just
No,
um
yeah, no. It was Operation Fishbowl.
what did they say it was for? They didn't admit that they were shooting at the dome, right?
Um, I'm saying what it sent here. One second. One second.
Okay. I can pull it up too.
All right. No, well, yeah, yeah. I mean, if you want to pull something up, but yeah, it was Operation Fishbowl. And that was part of Project Dominic, and in Latin, Dominic, that means of the Lord. So it was like Fishbowl of the Lord,
Okay.
apparently. At least
High
that was
altitude high altitude nuclear tests in 1962.
right.
Yeah, Operation Dominic, or is that what it says? I
All
believe
right,
so.
yeah. You got the screen if you want to share.
Uh, I just randomly put it in. So you want me just
Okay.
show you what I found, or
Yeah, that's cool.
all right, I got it.
and they were talking about how they sent up these rockets, and it was would impact something in the sky, and you know it said that, I mean, I wasn't going to go into Admiral Byrd, but they were saying that Admiral Byrd did the one Operation High Jump, about getting up on the ice wall, and then there was Operation Fishbowl. Basically, um, high jump was about getting up on the, or finding the barriers, or finding the edge, as it were, and then um, Operation Fishbowl was about testing the limits of the ceiling. Is what it was said.
Hmm.
So there was that. Planning for Operation Fishbowl, as well as many other nuclear tests in the region, was begun rapidly in response to a sudden Soviet announcement on August 30th, 1961, that they were ending a 3-year moratorium on nuclear testing. Huh. So this is the official story.
Right, right, right. We
Yeah.
just, yeah, okay. So a lot of flat earthers believe that they were actually trying to penetrate the dome with this test. That's pretty much what they think, right?
Either trying to penetrate the dome, or I believe trying to test the limits, like to see at what altitude the rockets would impact,
Right.
something like that.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it's well, they got an official story out on this stuff, so
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're telling the truth. There could
right.
have been more hidden agenda behind it. They're known for that. Elec-
Absolutely.
Electromagnetic pulses generated by a high altitude nuclear explosion. See, back then in 1962, what I don't understand is what makes what makes them think, if they did this testing, right, if this was legitimate, that they dropped a bomb on Hiroshima, they seen the results of that. Why would they assume if they shot something up in the sky really high, it wouldn't be toxic um, at a later date? You know what I mean? Didn't they know
Yeah.
about nuclear fallout by then?
Well, I mean, there's also the aspect that nukes are a hoax. There
Right.
is that, because I mean, like Chernobyl, that place was supposed to be condemned for like 10,000 years or something, because of the big nuclear event. But I mean, as far as I can, I believe I heard some people talking about Chernobyl recently, and they were saying that there's plants growing there, there's animals running around, and like
Oh yeah.
it's cool, So I believe Eric Dubay. Shout out to Eric Dubay. Um, believe he did a video on nukes being a hoax.
Right.
Um, so that's something to check out.
Right. Okay.
But I haven't gone in depth as far as the whole nukes is a hoax thing.
Right.
What happened to
Well,
all the trolls?
they started troll squatting.
Yeah, I'm saying my mods do their thing.
Okay, so
Shout out to the moderators. Appreciate you all.
absolutely.
Karen B, Miss Empress, Deontay Hightower, Melissa. Appreciate you. All right.
Okay, so basically, the government did some type of testing, shooting nuclear weapons up into the sky, which sounds crazy as hell when you really think about it, because they knew the devastation of nuclear weapons based on what they did in World War II. So 20 years later, they decide that they're going to shoot them up in the sky. So in 20 years, they knew that, or they probably didn't know, but they probably assumed that they could shoot nuclear weapons up in the sky and it wouldn't be no fallback. or no hazard created.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what it sounds like by that is that they already knew wasn't nothing gonna happen.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say without saying it.
Yeah.
Because if it's what they say it is, nuclear warheads are what they say it is, why would they assume that it wouldn't be a backlash for shooting them straight up? You know,
Yeah.
everything that goes up comes down. You know,
Right.
why would they assume that they wouldn't be contaminating an area if these things are what they say they are? You know,
True story. And then here, let me see what the launch of the Thor missile. Here, go back up, please.
where
See
at?
that there,
Right here.
right there. Yeah, the Thor missile with the nuclear warhead. Now there they go again. You know, naming these things after these Greek gods or what
Right,
Norse mythology and all that. They got this. They got a crazy habit of doing that, man.
right.
The
And
Apollo mission, the
it
Apollo missions, Orion, Gemini. You know,
right. Well, that's their infatuation with the Greeks and the Romans. You know, that's what they do.
right,
That's what they do, and that's where most of their info comes from too.
right,
All
right.
right.
All
All
right.
right. Okay.
Okay. Onto the ice wall.
Sure.
All right.
Let me stop sharing.
Okay.
Where
Uh,
does it say stop sharing? I don't see. Oh, here we go.
yeah, I just clicked on your icon and
All
put that
right.
up there. Okay. So, all right. On to the ice wall. No. Okay. So, what we know about the ice wall. The
Right.
nature of water is to seek and find its level. And I didn't get a slide for that, but we all know that anyway. There's the Antarctic Treaty. It creates enormous restrictions and roadblocks for civilian travel to Antarctica. The sun circuits over the face of the Earth. The temperatures near the equator are mostly consistent throughout the year. The Arctic Circle and Antarctica are colder throughout the year, yet Antarctica is reportedly much colder. And
Mhm.
then there's the average elevation of Antarctica is over a mile high. Okay, not gonna go into detail about Antarctica. Didn't have a whole lot of time to draw up the details, but
Right.
I recommend to anybody that wants to know about the Antarctic Treaty. Uh, this is like I said here, the best packaged information on the Antarctic Treaty. You got to check this one out. Got to check this one out. Taboo Conspiracy did a fantastic job of putting together as like a ton of information about the Antarctic Treaty. And this video is only like a half hour, but he just jammed so much good stuff into this one. And I that's part of one of my my auto links on my phone. Like when people put a comment on a link or a post or a video or something, saying just go to the ice wall. And I mean, this is one of the videos that I linked to them just to say, look, it's not that easy. And he goes through a lot of the restrictions that they have in place as far as keeping people out of there. So I mean, definitely Taboo Conspiracy. Shout out to him for doing his thing. Great channel. This video, definitely check it out. Go like, subscribe, tell them D Marble sent you. Okay. So yeah, screenshot this one, folks. Antarctica, sorry, we're closed. Check that out by Taboo Conspiracy. Goes into a lot of detail about this. Okay. What else we know is that the sun makes a clockwise circuit over the face of the flat earth. I witnessed this myself. Went to Alaska last year, went to go check it out, bring the info back for you all and check this thing out. So I was there. I was able to get the time lapses on it from Alaska, and just as sure as the day is long, the sun does make a clockwise circuit over the face of the earth. Another thing I thought was cool was that, you know, around that time it was like 1 a.m. the sun was visible over Africa. At the same time I could see it in Alaska. So I thought that was pretty dope. Also, there was another time when it was like 1 in the afternoon where I was at, where the sun was just coming up in Australia, and I got a short video about that. It's way in the catalog, but yeah, I need to put that together and pull that out. So I'm going somewhere with this. The whole sun making a clockwise circuit.
Right.
All right, so there's that.
You fell off. Looks like you fell off. It might be like that. It's still live. If yeah, let me pull up the comment that he is working on technical. Oh, yeah. Even more, I can't believe you don't believe in the Saturn model. I think we need a little more than belief. So that's no problem. I mean, you're comfortable with it. Can't tell you how many things I believed in that turn out to be untrue.
All right, we back.
Yeah, you good?
Okay, lost me again, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying the videos do a lot. I had to check the chat. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? What happened?
Yeah.
All right, what was the last thing? What was the last thing we heard?
Uh, you were talking about the Antarctic Treaty.
Oh shoot, that was a long time ago. Okay,
You were touching it. You were building up to something.
dang it. I gotta go back and check the stream, see where I was at with this thing. I went a few slides down. Okay, so we're back. Check out this video, people.
Yeah, you said that.
Golly. All right, moving along. So yeah, what else we know is that the sun makes a clockwise circuit over the face of the earth.
Right.
And I went to Alaska and I did my thing out there. Sat in the car with Chris for 2 days. The sun does circuit. You know, Chris is in the chat. What's up, man? And yeah, we got a chance to get out there and do the time lapses. One of the cool things that I got to see out there was the sun setting, or looking like it was setting. The sun going off into the distance as it made its circuit. Um, and that picture was taken around 1 a.m. and at the same time the sun was visible. Over what's called the so-called Middle East. It was like over North Africa. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just the idea of being able to see the sun, the same time everybody else on Earth can see the sun. I thought that was actually pretty cool. So there was that, and this was a video of a time lapse that someone took. They went out to somewhere close to the North Pole, and they were out there for days. Like what we're watching right now, this is days and days of time lapse. And from my experience going out there, hanging out with Chris in that car, we had to go get our supplies and do our thing. We were out there just having to jump out of the car, replace batteries, having to, you know, reset the camera, things like that, just to get the shots that we got, the time lapses that we got. And somebody went to great length to get this video. And I mean, this was days, but it's only a 2-minute video of this time lapse. So somebody went hard on that. So I'm getting to a point on this. All right, so Earth's temperature shows, or this temperature graphic of the Earth shows the heat signature on the globe. And this is what they give us as far as the globe. But I thought it was funny that they didn't account for the tilt. You know what I mean? The Earth is supposed to be tilted at 23.4 degrees, and we got nothing as far as the tilt goes. It looks like the sun just makes a perfect perfect orbit around there. But this is what we know goes on based on what I saw while I was in Alaska. So this makes perfect sense. This whole aspect of the temperature signatures.
I have a
Um,
quick question. Quick question. It's
okay,
in reference to the tilt.
okay,
How can we, if there's no up and down in space, you always hear science say that.
yes,
How is there a left and a right as far as the tilt is concerned?
man, yeah, like,
Mm.
dude, I asked the same question. How, how do you know? How do you know it's at 23.4 degrees? Because you have to have a base in order to establish an angle.
Exactly, and they claim that the base is visible because think about it, we were tilted on an axis. That axis would have to be solid. If the axis is not solid, he got kicked off again. If the axis is solid, which direction is it tilting in? Is it tilting in towards the axis? And is the axis invisible? It's like some special gravity that creates the tilt of the Earth. I mean, it's a contradiction. D keeps dropping.
All
You
right,
back?
and I'm back again.
All right.
Call it a little quicker this time. Haha.
Yeah, we were talking about the mysterious tilt of an axis that don't exist.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before you drop.
Yeah, I'm saying, and that's what throws me off because I mean, your buddy Neil says that the Earth is slightly chubbier towards the bottom. And what I was saying was that in order for there to be an angle, a base has to be established.
Right.
And I mean, that's just some simple common sense stuff. If I'm outside, I'm standing on the concrete, I'm standing at a 90-degree angle based on the ground that I'm standing on. But out in space, there's no up, down, left, or right. So what do you mean it's tilted at 23.4 degrees based on what?
Exactly. So if they can tell us which direction there's a tilt, they can also tell us what is up and what is down.
Yeah.
So
It,
if they could tell us left or right, they got to be able to say what's up and down. We're talking about a 3D world here, guys. So if this world is truly 3D, you can't say that there's no up and down and then claim that there's a tilt left or right. It doesn't make sense.
that there is one of those heliocentric contradictions.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm sorry, I cut you off. I just wanted to throw that in there. Go ahead.
Oh no, that was good. I'm saying that's another one of those things because I'm like, wait a minute, um, that whole temperature signature does not work. It does not work as far as showing the heat on a globe, but it does work on a flat Earth with the sun making a circuit over the face of the face of the Earth with the North Pole at the middle. That makes absolute sense.
Right.
And the idea of the Earth operating this way and the sun and the moon circuiting this way, it makes more sense as the heat is more concentrated towards the areas above the equator or near the equator. And then we know that during the winter months in the center, or what's called the northern hemisphere, that in the southern hemisphere, or what's called the outer edge of the plane, that it's winter there. um so summer near the middle, winter near the south, and then in the north when it's winter, and it's summer in the south. Now, my idea is that um, the as the sun's making this circuit, not only is it taking its light, it's taking its heat also. Because there's those months on end where there's this dark. There's 24-hour darkness, just the same as there's 24-hour light towards the center. So it just makes more sense that it's colder there most of the time. And then if the sun's circling that way that we know it is, that would mean that in the southern hemisphere the sun has to move faster. So it's not able to cause enough heat to melt the ice as you would think. And I was thinking about that the other day because you remember I made those videos that, I mean, there was this massive snowstorm here, and it had snowed for like days and days, and it was just stacked up for like feet. So last week there was one day where it was like 50 degrees. It was like 50 degrees outside, and I'm driving around. I get to this one parking lot, and I still see this big mound of snow. I'm walking around, with my pants, in a t-shirt. I took my hoodie off. It was warm enough to get out and just walk around with my t-shirt on, but there was still snow accumulated in a parking lot, like melting. I was like, well, that's okay. So, like when snow accumulates, it takes a lot longer for it to melt. Because I mean, I've thought about like why, if the sun's doing all that, why wouldn't it melt? But then I thought about it the other day, like, wait a minute, while I was here, it had snowed, and I mean, the snow just kind of hung out for a long time, and it just takes longer to melt when snow accumulates. Uh,
Right.
all right, so
Well, do we want to talk about the stuff?
about, about what? Go ahead.
The hard stuff. You want to get into the hard stuff?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, keep that model up you got right there.
Okay.
Now, this is my challenge to flat earth. All right. If we're going to use our globe earth as a guiding principle of of how we're going to move forward in this discussion, we need to look at this model closely. Now we're looking down on top of it, and we're saying that the center of the globe, the center of the flat plane is the North Pole, right? Is that pretty much what we're agreeing to if we're going to agree to the model?
Yes.
Okay. Now, from the center, if we look to the left or we look to the right, there's an ice wall. If we look to the, well, depending on where you're standing at the North Pole, if we look to our rear, and either our rear or to our front, there's an ice wall. We do not technically have to go south to find the ice wall based on our model. Based on our model, if we go far enough in any direction, which is not necessarily consistent with the globe Earth model, but in any real world direction, we should hit an ice wall. Because one of the premises of this model is that the ice wall is holding in all the oceans of the world. So, what we know to be Antarctica, based on how they've conditioned us, is south. If we go east or west far enough, we should actually hit an ice wall if our model is accurate. Would you agree?
You mean like based on dead reckoning?
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But
So,
I mean, there's also you'll you know bump into the so-called ice wall, or I'd refer to it as the Antarctic shoreline, basically, or shoreline Antarctica, however that goes. And I mean, it's like heading south from any direction, like regardless of where you go, heading south. Like if you're in America, you head south, you're going to bump into it. You're in Australia, you head south, you're going to bump into it, because compasses only point towards the north.
right. But if we went opposite south, we should still hit an ice wall.
Well, I mean, I'd imagine that if you traveled in any direction long enough and just stayed traveling in that direction, that yeah, you should, in
Right.
theory.
In theory, right? So, if that is true, why are we even talking about the globe Earth South Antarctica? We should
Well,
be talking going in any direction. All we got to do is exploration in any direction. We should be able to prove our ice wall.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, it comes down to another aspect that we need to, or possibly adjust our terminology, our vernacular a little bit, like not so much north, but that the sun and moon circuits around the center of the Earth. Not so much that it's north. It's just that we're so accustomed to calling it north, and we're so accustomed to calling any direction, opposite of north, heading south. But heading south is basically the heading towards the outer limits of the plane, and then heading north is heading towards the center of the plane, based on the directions of the sun and moon, or
Right,
path of the sun and moon.
right. So if you're dead reckoning towards true north, you're going to the center based on our model. But if you go south, um, we should be going in the direction of an ice wall, right? But we don't necessarily have to go where they claim south is. They claim south is at the bottom of the ball. So if we went east and west, we should be able to experience the ice wall if we got around the landmass. So if we ran into any land masses. The example I'm proposing is, and it's really hard because everything we know is based on a globe. But if you shot an azimuth of, let's say, west, which is 270 degrees west, right?
Hmm.
Assuming north is at 0 degrees. Um, and you went around any barriers that you came in front of, you went around that landmass, that continent or whatever, and you got back on that 270-degree azimuth where you got clear open water, and you keep going, you should be able to hit a ice wall. So you could go west and hit an ice wall. You should be able to go east and hit an ice wall. You should be able to go north. Well, maybe not, but based on their globe, north is at the top, right? So you're still going towards a potential ice wall. So my argument is this: if they have an Antarctic Treaty to the south, and the south is based on a globe, that means if we went in any other direction, we can no longer claim an Antarctic Treaty. So if we did an expedition going due west, assuming that we're leaving America, right, from America, and we go west, let's say we're in Seattle somewhere and we decide to go west, we should eventually, if the ice wall exists, hit it. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, based on what what I conclude. I mean, because my conclusion is that there's something going on out there. Something's got to hold the water in. Because I mean, another point that I uh, left out was that, I mean, what another thing that we know is that water has to be contained.
Okay.
Like we know that water seeks and finds its level. We know that water has to be contained in order for that to happen. So, I mean, it stands to reason that the surface of the water is level and the water is contained by something. And the concept of the sun spending half of the year closer to the center allows there to be sufficient freezing around the outer perimeter to facilitate a buildup of ice, in my opinion.
Okay. So so if we apply what I'm saying to a globe, for example,
Hmm.
they're claiming Antarctica's at the bottom of the ball and
Yeah.
North Pole's at the top. Left and right is supposedly, or east and west have been explored. They claim people have literally flown around the globe. We say that no, it's a plane. Those people went east and west in an oval shape over a plane. So my argument is this: if the flat Earth model is accurate, the Antarctic Treaty has nothing to do with what we're trying to prove. The Antarctic Treaty is all about the South. It's not about the East and the West. It's not even about the North. If we were able to charter some type of trip to, quote unquote, the globe Earth North or the globe Earth East and West, we should be able to prove our claims of this flat Earth map. Going to the south is not the only option. That's my argument.
Right.
The South, and right now, everyone is saying, and there's evidence to show that there's an Antarctic Treaty. We can't go south. We can't go south. But from a globe's perspective, that's at the bottom of the globe. We can still go east and west and north.
True.
So there's really nothing stopping us from doing expedition. It really isn't. I mean, unless people don't think an expedition east and west is going to prove that there's an ice wall. But I'll take it even further. We really don't need to prove an ice wall. We just need to prove if we travel dead reckoning west and east, we're not going to come around the other side. Once we prove that we can't come around the other side, that debunks the globe physically through exploration.
I can dig it. Have you heard about this story about Jarl Andhoy?
No.
All right, so this guy, he was actually he had his own yacht or a boat, had his own crew, and he was arrested trying to go to Antarctica, and heard I believe he was arrested twice. I could be wrong.
Right.
And this is from April 2nd, 2012. Norwegian arrested after Antarctic voyage. The Norwegian adventurer who made an unauthorized trip to Antarctica with a New Zealander on board has been arrested off the coast of Chile. Jarl Andhoy and his 4 crew were arrested in waters nearby the border of Chile and Argentina. They were escorted to a nearby naval base in Puerto Williams, and their sailing permit has been revoked. So, god dang, didn't hear about all. I'm saying so. He tried to go out there and he was arrested because it was unauthorized, and then I mean they revoked. They pulled his card. Like, he can't even sail anymore.
Right.
And that was what he did. You know, that was his thing. Going out, doing all that. Crew reported to be fine. And that's cool.
Right.
I mean,
that's because he went from the perspective of the globe earther to the bottom of the ball, or the bottom of the world. What happens if that same guy attempted to do that east and west? Would he get arrested?
I do not know.
Or north? You know what I mean? The Antarctic Treaty, as is read, is for the bottom of the ball. What happens when we don't go to the bottom of the ball? We go as far as we can in the other direction.
Hold up. Just a second. Just wanted to shout out a couple super chats. Much appreciation to Seth Bop and Miss Empress. Sure appreciate you all. Good Lord. Gotta send y'all some t-shirts or something. Good night. Appreciate it. Thank y'all. All right. Yeah, I'm saying it might be. I don't know. That's something to look into. That's definitely something to look into.
The reason I bring this up, I never hear flat earthers talk about ever traveling in any other direction other than Antarctica. And I don't understand why. If our model says that the ice wall is holding in all the oceans 360 degrees around the plane, no matter what direction we go in outside of going inland, we should be going in the direction of an ice wall if the model is accurate. So you really don't need to go to Antarctica. You should be able to go what the ball claims to be due north, and you should be able to experience the ice wall, or due west, or due east.
Unless you get arrested. Unless you get stopped and arrested, turned around, and have your sailing permit revoked, then I mean, but that'll also, add more to the, to the idea that you can't just go there. Just like Homo sapien, getting scammed out of that money. Dude thought he was just gonna be able to hop on a plane and fly out to Antarctica with these folks, got scammed, and I mean, flat earthers were telling this dude it's not happening. And I mean, he lost all those people's money, and pretty much proved that you can't just go there like that.
Right. Somebody in the chat, C dot 310 says, "Vegan warrior, east and west are circles around the north." I guess if you base it on a ball, but we're basing it on a flat plane. So if north is the center, if you go left of north, depending on what direction you're facing in, wouldn't you be going east or west? So
Eh,
let's say we all went to the North Pole, where there is no Antarctic Treaty, right? And then we went left or right. Wouldn't that be going um, wouldn't that be going east or west? You're not still going north. And how is it a circle? I don't know. I'm trying to understand what he means by that.
yeah, well,
Well,
um,
anyway, I'll leave that alone. My other contention is, do you believe that it's literally 360 around the plane, holding in the waters, the ocean?
I would have to. Yes, I'll go ahead and give you a yes on that one.
Okay. So,
Because like I had said, like I said, let me see, I'm back here. Like I was saying, as far as the sun making that circuit around the face of the earth, it's like the sun spends half of the year closer to the center. So in the south, the freezing temperatures and the water washing up on the shoreline and all that, that facilitates the idea of there being more freezing water down there for half of the year. And then there was the idea that it takes so long for snow to melt. And that was something that kind of gave me that idea. So yeah, I believe so. And also, in the South, if we're, going by this model, and like I said, like I keep saying, what we know is that the sun does make a clockwise circuit. That would mean in the South, or further towards the outer ring. I gotta work on my terminology. Further, towards the outer circuit of the face of the earth, the sun would have to move faster, so it's not going to be available long enough to constantly heat the ice to a point to where it would melt, in my opinion. So I mean, that pretty much would mean that, yeah, it's possible that ice could form in a 360, like in all directions. Yeah.
okay. So if the ice forms, uh, if the ice develops due to the sun, a lack of sun, thus creating that wall around the plane, but it's still hot enough to liquefy the ocean. So we got a problem. A lot of the models that I see, the water is actually up against the actual ice wall. So now you have a liquid state of water and you have a solid state of water connecting to hold back the oceans. Now the problem with that is melting. Now, are
Yeah.
we saying that the ice wall is actually land covered with snow? Is that what we're actually saying? Or are we saying that it's pure ice?
Um.
Or no one's ever really thought about that? Or
Oh no, it's been thought of, but it's on a map, and there's issues with being able to authenticate a map as to whether or not it's accurate. But I mean, just based on, if we're just going off of what we know, we don't know if there's land under there or not. Now, if we pull up the map from Urbano Monte,
Mhm.
let me see, Ur, Urbano Monte
Well,
map.
one other issue is that landmass or that ice wall that's holding back the water is
Yeah,
also submerged in the water, right? So for it to hold the top of the water, it also has to hold all the way down to the ocean floor. So are we to believe that ice goes all the way down to the ocean floor, holding in all of the ocean? I don't think that's likely. If anything, it would be land, solid rock, solid land holding in the oceans. Because ice, once it makes a connection to a liquid substance like the ocean water, it's going to
Hmm.
melt. It's going to degrade over time. It's kind of like putting ice cubes in a drink. It starts off cold, it's solid, but then it's going to eventually melt. So the ice that we're claiming to be an ice wall has to be land covered with snow for it to not melt away.
All right. Shout out to Gartrell McKinney. Thank you, sir. Sure appreciate you as always. Um, my thing is that I mean, so here's that map from Urbano Monte, and this is one of the older maps. This was publicized a couple years ago. I believe like the end of 2017. This one was released as like a whole bunch of different maps spliced together all of a sudden and put on the internet. And this is what they came out with. It had all kinds of uh, animals that we don't see anymore, but what we see on the outside is is showing land masses that haven't that aren't frozen over. So you know do with that what you will.
Well, that would make more sense. I mean, that would make more sense than just ice. Because the moment you say ice and holding back oceans, you got a conflict. Um, if the water is liquefied and the actual ice wall isn't, that ice wall will become liquefied if it is actually connected to, or not connected, or touching the ocean. You can't have liquid H2O and a hard H2O all connected. You know,
Yeah.
uh, the harder ice cube is gonna melt. So what we're calling an ice wall is actually land. If it's, in my opinion, if it was real, you know. Now
Right.
it could be covered with snow. It could look like Antarctica and North Pole and all that stuff like that. But in no way could it just be ice. Ice would ice once it's connected to the liquid ocean would melt. That's how we get icebergs and all that stuff. And then I mean the bigger problem is beneath the water. Beneath the water, if you have a wall holding in the ice beneath the water, that ice would have to be so cold that liquid would turn into ice.
Yeah.
Catch, all the way down to the sea floor. I mean, the ocean floor.
True.
So it's kind of hard for me to imagine that. But maybe it's a landmass because it doesn't get sun. It has a lot of snow and ice. And the ideal is see, but this is the real problem.
Hmm.
The real problem is all these maps and stuff. How do we know that it actually goes 360 degrees? Now, the ice shelf in Antarctica has been witnessed, but was it witnessed going on forever? Was it followed all the way around? I think Captain Cook said he followed it around. Is that what you told me once?
Yeah, that's a story, but I didn't know the guy. We never hung out.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, we just go off the information we got. So
Yeah.
Captain Cook claims to have followed the ice shelf completely around, and it was how long in distance? Did he,
um
I
um
thought
um
I, thought I heard 60,000.
yeah, something like that. They said it took like 3 years for him to complete that voyage.
So he just went along following the ice shelf in a 360.
That's the story.
Do you believe it?
um I don't know. I
Because
don't.
I like to know how he resupplied and how he was able to do all that. Like, what year did
Right.
he supposedly do this?
Right. I'm saying it's like where you growing your own plants, growing your own food on the ship. Did you have a garden? What was there? Was he constantly coming to land at different ports, and then, okay, we've been out here, we're gonna run out of food in like a month, so we need to head back to land and set up a colony or something, and then resupply our food and get some more animals on here or whatever, and then restock our supply, and then go back out to the point to where we left off. I feel you, because I'm in the logistics, man. That's what I do. So I
Right.
think about all that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that Fort Lee experience. I know. I know. I got you. So so now we tie the dome in with the ideas of the ice shelf or the ice wall. I guess the question would be, would the dome connect to the landmass, because it has to come down and connect to the landmass at some point, at the ice wall or beyond the ice wall. So now not only do we have an ice wall, but we also have land beyond the wall. So we're talking about a dome that has to come down to protect the atmosphere that gives us pretty much life and why we can live on this plane, because the dome protects our atmosphere from what it appears. If
Right.
we want to look at it the ideal that way, I kind of envision a snow globe. So that dome would have to reach the land at some point.
I would imagine so.
Would we say that that would be most likely beyond the ice shelf?
I would imagine that it would have to that would have to take place somewhere beyond the ice shelf, like many many miles. You have to get up on the ice shelf, and then you have to journey far inside in order to bump into the edge of the dome and all that.
Right. So we got a couple issues here. One,
Yeah.
we gotta to prove our model, we have to explore, because I think the maps and the arguments of, let's say, Captain Cook or Admiral Byrd and all those guys, because Admiral Byrd never talked about actually finding a dome, right? He claimed he found the ice shelf and that there's more land beyond Antarctica.
Yeah, that was what Bird said. Yeah.
Right. So if
Oh,
he, I'm
ooh,
sorry, go
ooh, ooh, also Admiral Bird went in and he did another. Well, there was a journal or a diary where he talked about um his trip to the north or the center, and he
right.
talked
He
about
went
how
to,
how he got.
North Pole, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Went to the North Pole, and then got basically came into contact with some advanced race and was pulled into the underworld of the earth, and communicated with these advanced beings who had all this amazing technology, and you know um liquid sun, maglev trains systems underground and all that. It was a off the wall story. So
So
they're just
would that fall under the hollow Earth theory?
um yeah, yeah, I believe that is, because I mean, I looked into hollow earth. I wouldn't say I was a hollow earther, but it did make more sense, because I'm like, well, wait a minute. you know um I feel like hollow earth makes a lot more sense with flat earth than it does on the globe, honestly. I feel like anybody that's taking the concept of hollow earth seriously is like a couple steps away from flat earth, because it just makes more sense to me
I,
anyway.
I thought in hollow Earth, didn't they claim that there was a sun on the inside of the Earth as well?
Dude, yeah. Actually, yeah, they did say that.
Okay.
That's what
Because
they claim.
they got to justify having being able to survive within the Earth, number one, and two, it kind of takes us off of the surface of the Earth into this icy plane and then back into the Earth. And to survive inside the Earth at those type of temperatures with no sun, you got to have a sun.
Yeah.
You kind of got a lot of stuff going on there, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's like some high tech sun simulator that they
Right.
have going on there. You know.
Yeah.
Just just
So that right there, in my opinion, that's your proof for aliens. I mean, when I say aliens, I mean people that ain't like us, that's living inside the earth, you know.
maybe.
And you know, wow.
Well, because there's these large underground catacombs, and I mean, people have done videos about them, and I mean that. I gotta say that doesn't sound too crazy to me. Honestly, there's something going on. They build.
The better, you
So
know.
so once again, I'm over here talking to myself.
Oh no, you
Jeez.
got okay.
All right. I'm back. What's up, y'all? Okay, so let me see. Threw this thing off a little bit. Now you can see my green screen hanging from up here. Okay.
Well, let me be quiet because you still doing your presentation. You still got more slides.
Um, it was just a couple more. Let me
Okay.
see. Where was I at anyway? But it was kind of stuff that I'd already talked about anyway. Um, so there was, I mean, I had talked about that. The average elevation of Antarctica is, said to be 8,200 feet, and that's like a mile and a half high on the, on average. And then, there's the average temperature, and that was my whole thing about, the temperature remains near freezing. So that in addition to my thing about how long it takes for snow to melt, in Tacoma, when on a day when it's like, it's been 30 plus, it's been warmer than 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is freezing. And there's still accumulations of snow in, like, on the edge of parking lots where the um where the plows plowed all the snow into a big pile. So that was along the lines of my concept that it would take a little bit longer for ice to melt, at least on the surface. Now the whole concept of water next to the ice, and I mean that, hey, that's up in the air, because I mean it could still be sub freezing underwater also. So I mean, would the water melt in sub freezing temperatures? But if the water is sub freezing, that would mean that the water's supposed to be frozen, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I can, yeah.
We
So
should be able to. We should be able to get to a point where the ships can't go no further. We get out and just walk on the ice over to the ice wall.
yeah,
Because you can't have the water flush with the ice wall. That's not possible in nature. You
right,
know. So the ocean would have to solidify so well that now we should be able to walk on it right on up to the landmass. That's the ice wall. If it's going all the way down to the bottom of the plane, if there's no
yeah,
sun, you know,
yep,
and
absolutely,
I get it. I mean, I know these ice shelves exist. It's obvious, like right here, you're showing a picture. The ice shelf is there.
right,
You seen what that ship had to do? It actually broke the surface of the ice to get to that high point.
right.
Right? So that has a icebreaker in the front, and that's how I was able to get so close to it. But I mean, does that shelf go all the way down to the sea ocean floor? I don't think so. I think that plane right there that they're showing us, I bet you there's water under that entire plane,
Or land.
or yeah, or land. It's not snow. Snow's not going to go all the way down to the bottom of the ocean floor.
Nah,
So that has to be land covered with snow.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, it had to start its accumulation somewhere.
Right.
There had to be a
Exactly.
surface for it to get started.
Well, the accumulation could have been that the ocean turned into ice and then it just built on top of it.
Right.
You know, it could have been that. But if it built on ice, that means it would be solid ice all the way down to the ocean floor.
Yep,
You know,
that's
or to be
possible.
floating, or be floating like an iceberg.
Yeah,
Right. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I mean, floating like an iceberg until the point to where underwater it got to a point of a solid landmass, and yeah,
Right. Now envision this going 360 degrees around our world. It's deep. That,
yeah,
that that's a big pill to swallow. You know, I'm not saying it's not true. I know the Earth is not a globe. I just don't know if the the flat Earth map is accurate. That's why I don't use it in my discussions.
right,
I can't defend it. You know, to say it's conclusive. That's why.
right. I try to just stick to what we can prove, what can be debunked.
Oh wow, he fell again. Keeps getting kicked off. Uh, well, it was another point I wanted to bring up. D, you back?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I just use the map as somewhat of a tool to show what the possibility is as to what we're living on.
Right.
But
Oh,
yeah,
well,
that was the end of my presentation though.
okay. Well, the what this is based on experience with arguing with globe earthers, which I've done extensively for the last almost 4 years. Um, maybe a little longer. The first, I gotta always like if they don't know me and they want to debate flat Earth, the first
Mm,
thing I got to do is let them know I don't have a model because their entire argument is designed to attack what we hold to be true. Many of us hold to be true, which is our map, right? Our flat Earth
right.
map.
Yep.
So the first 5 or 10 minutes we say, "Hey, you may know some flat earthers that believe that, but I don't." We don't know enough yet, so I'm not even going to debate those points with you. That destroys about 80% of what they have to say. Not about 80, about 60% about what they have to say. Once they realize I don't have a map for them to criticize to compare to their globe Earth model, they some of them just shut down and run after that, because the ideal is if you don't have a model to defend, you're not worthy of engaging them in discussion because how can you criticize ours if you don't have one? I don't fall for that. I don't fall for that because I don't have to prove anything.
Right.
Flat Earth does not have to be proven. Flat Earth is what we experience. No globe earther, just like no flat earther, feels spin. No globe earther feels movement of the plane, a tilt of the plane. Also, what we always leave out when we talk about the globe, not only is it spinning and rotating, it is spinning and rotating the same thing. Spinning and revolving around the sun, it's wobbling. They claim that the Earth is wobbling as it spins. So it's a wobble, a spin, and a
Tilted
revolution, tilted
and tilted. Yeah.
and a revolution all happening all at the same time. So when I get into these discussions with flat earthers, I mean globe earthers, I always tell them, hey, I'm not here to defend what I believe. I'm here to share our reality that you have somehow found a way to ignore. You do not feel spin. And I always get them to admit that they don't feel spin. I always get them to admit, the intellectually honest ones, that they have never experienced curvature. They have never seen curvature. Now, some of them try to say that they did, and then that you got to go down that path to get them to understand that they have never witnessed curvature. Well, I've seen it while I was flying an airplane. I said, no, you haven't. And guess
Right.
what? Science even says you can't see it from an airplane. So why are you lying? So once you get them to realize they have not personally witnessed curvature, they don't experience spin, I then sit back and say, okay, now prove your model. And
Yeah.
then it goes back to them trying to regurgitate what we learned in elementary school, junior high school, and also high school. And I sit back and I say, well, how do you know it's true? How do you know it's true? Has science ever lied to us in the past? And I give them a whole host of examples of when they've lied or misguided us. I always corner them and say, do you believe that we actually went to the moon? You know, they were like, well, a lot of them say, no, I don't think that's irrelevant. I said, no, it's very relevant. The only physical evidence that globe Earth has that they have actually seen the shape of the Earth is when they went to the moon.
Yep.
Outside of that, they have never seen the shape of the Earth. I point this stuff out, and that's the basis of my argument. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not about winning or losing, but you can tell after having a discussion when someone just starts calling you names, or they run away, or they fold up like a little kid and they don't really have nothing else to say. You know that deep down inside, they realize they can't defend their model. While we are attempting to defend a model that we're not 100% sure on, it gives them an advantage. It gives them something to argue about. It gives them something to point at and say, well, you say our model is bad, but let's look at your model.
Yeah.
And then we get to the point, well, we don't, we believe it's a dome, and we believe that there's an ice wall around it, and that the North Pole is in the middle. And when we start doing that, it just gives them ammunition.
Yeah.
They no longer feel like they need to defend their globe. Now they just feel like, let's attack the flat Earth model.
Right. Yeah.
We're giving them something to fight. And I don't understand why. Now, don't get me wrong. We ain't got to throw it away. I say let's use our model to prove it. But let's not use it to prove flat Earth, because you really don't need it to prove flat Earth.
Nope.
I mean, it's so much other stuff that if you know what to say and how to say it, you never need to go to a model.
I
But
agree.
anyway, that's my perspective.
I agree. And yeah, that just makes sense. I was just yeah, trying to, just pontificate to opine, give some more light to this whole idea. And yeah, I agree. We don't really need to prescribe to a model because we haven't been taught the flat Earth model all our lives. The flat Earth model isn't the thing that's on trial right now. The thing that's on trial, the thing that we need to be questioning, is what the school system's been teaching,
Yeah.
what the mainstream media, what all these these news corporations put on these logos and advertisements, all that stuff. The globe is the thing that society has been taught all this time, and that's what we need to be questioning. Don't worry about the flat Earth model. That's not what's been taught to your kids. That's not what's been taught to you, your parents, your grandparents. We need to be looking at this globe a little closer. So I mean, as we always say, the burden of proof is not on us. It's not. It's
not.
really not.
It really
Because
isn't.
I'm
They're
saying,
saying stuff that's in opposition of what we all experience. So they're
yeah,
saying our experiences are wrong. Okay, if our experiences are wrong, guess who just assumed the burden? Because if we all don't feel spin, and you're saying we are, guess what? You have to prove spin. If
yeah,
you say people in Australia can survive and live at the bottom of a ball, you have to prove that. I don't have to prove that. I'm telling you all the time, I get globe earthers saying, well, tell me how it works in outer space. I said, I don't need to prove that. You prove it.
right. We're not buying outer space, so we're not
Yeah.
going to say you're going to prove outer space. That's
And
your crap.
they get so mad, dude. They get so mad. And I'm nice. I'm usually nice. I used to be like cuss them out and jump on them, but I don't do it no more. I'm really nice to them. I'm like, dude, I mean, that's what you believe. How do you know it's true? Now, I've even got them to say, well, we're standing on the shoulder of giants. I said, okay, so you're saying Kepler, Galileo, Copernicus, Newton. Einstein, they're giants, right?
Hmm.
Well, how do you know what they're telling you is true? Have you been able to authenticate it? Does it match your reality? But they all had it right. I said, how do you know they had it right? You know, and if I know that they're conspiracy theorists and they don't truly believe in the moon missions, well, if they're willing to lie to us about the greatest achievement of mankind, I mean, think about it. Hands down, mankind has never done anything greater than going to the moon.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
no exploration, no achievement that can match going to the moon. If you don't believe we went to the moon, why would you assume that they know something when they haven't provided you tangible evidence? Why not question it? Why not
Right.
hold them accountable? Why don't you put the burden on NASA? See, we're putting the burden on you. Why don't you put the burden on NASA?
Right. They'll sit here and question us all day, but they won't.
Exactly.
But they never question their authority. See, that's what I'm saying. How do you look? You're so quick to say we're lying, but how do you know they're not? What are they not human? Are they infallible? You know, just because they got their lab coat, just because they sound intelligent and all that, you're saying that they can't be deceptive?
Yep.
Come on now.
That's what they believe. They really believe so much in the system because you also got to realize this whole discussion of the shape of the earth is attached to people's worldview. Their
Yes.
worldview is that we're living in the greatest country ever and that this country was built on the backs of good men and women who pulled up their boots, and that's why we have a great country. But they forget about the elites. They forget about the controllers. They forget about all the deceptive people throughout history. Dude, the only time we went to the moon, it was under one presidency.
Hmm.
And that president was pushed out of office in lieu of being impeached for being a liar.
There you go.
Dude, Nixon started all this. We are
Tricky
arguing
Dick.
about the shape of the earth because of Nixon. But again, they believe in they believe their ancestors wouldn't lie. The Europeans would never lie, not in a million years. The Greek, the Greeks, the Romans, the Europeans that came up with the heliocentric model and all that stuff, they would never ever lie. They're just so honest and so scientific. You know, the world had no science before those people. That's what they believe.
Yeah, man.
So here we come challenging them, and now they feel like we're trying to tear down the legacy of their ancestors. That's what they.
Uh,
It's our ancestors, you know.
yeah.
That's the thing.
But here's the thing. We kind of are, and they got to deal with it. But that's how paradigm shifts happen. You know, that's how change takes place. The science isn't settled. I don't care what Bill Nye said. The science is not settled on climate change. Climate change. Yeah, right. And then the science is not settled as far as the shape of the earth.
Well,
So
well, you know what it was called before climate change, right?
global warming.
So they realized that wasn't working no more. They said, "Hold up, the Earth isn't really getting warmer, so we got to change this." Okay, climate
Right.
change. You know,
Yeah.
it's all
Cause Yeah, because history doesn't show that there have been points in the past where the climate has actually changed, right? Like that's not a thing, right? Like, come on,
yeah.
man.
They talk about the ice age and then they say climate change.
Yeah, yeah. Mankind is causing it based on all the pollution and the fossil fuels and the carbon emissions and all that, and we need to tax y'all for that. Wait a minute, what happened back then?
Yeah.
Were people driving around in Range Rovers, polluting the air back then? The whole freezing that caused the extinction of the dinosaurs and all that. Oh no, wait, that was a meteor. My bad. These are man. Come on now. All
I'm
right,
telling
1 second.
you. Yeah.
Shout out to Jeremy Walker. He put up a super chat and said, and this was something from like a while ago in the conversation. He said, "Yes, it's possible, vegan. Lakes freeze over all the time, and under that thick layer of ice is water. I mean,
Absolutely. He's right, but he's wrong.
I
I mean, yeah, the lake freezes over, right? And then you got an ice shelf. But guess what? You don't have no flowing water anymore because it freezes over.
right.
So at what point does the flowing water stop and freeze and then eventually grow into an ice shelf?
I'm thinking it would have to go really deep.
Exactly.
Huh. It would have to go really deep and be really, really freaking cold down there for that to happen. Like almost impenetrable.
Yep.
Yeah, I can dig it. Also, shout out to my man DJ Schmicks in the house. What's up, dude?
Was good.
Yeah,
So again, I'm not tearing down the flat Earth model. What I'm saying is we still got work to do, y'all. We only been in this game about 5-6 years. I mean, the modern day flat Earth. The modern day flat Earth has been in this game for 5-6 years, right?
right.
Don't get comfortable. See, I think that's part of the problem. Everybody's getting comfortable. We feel like we're so right, and the globe Earth is so wrong that the science is settled. With us, the science can never be settled. It can't be, man. We gotta take this thing to another level. If we don't take it to another level, we're just gonna be a group of people grounded in our beliefs, and they're gonna continue to be what they be, and we will not move forward. We really won't. In my opinion, we got to start proving some stuff, and we kind of got to do it with them. I mean, at some point, see, this is the biggest problem I see. This is the biggest problem.
Hmm.
We don't trust them; they don't trust us. So let's say me and D Marble said, "The heck with it, we're gonna prove this ice wall today," and we jump in a ship and we travel, and we not turning back till we find a doggone ice wall. Me and D Marble find the ice wall. And we're like, we got it. We take video, we take pictures, we do everything. We have proven the ice wall. We turn around and come back, they all gonna say you're a liar. You're a liar. It's not true. D Marble's a shill. Curtis is a shill. You guys are liars. That's what they're gonna say.
Fabricated the whole thing.
We fabricated the whole thing. We used CGI. We did everything, blah, blah, blah. Flip that around. They go out and they prove that the earth is a globe. They got it. They proved, they got that conclusive proof. They left from point A, they went around the ball, dead reckoning, and they came back and bang, they proved it. We're going to look at them and we're going to say, you a damn lie. There's no way. You did not do that. You're a shield, the Illuminati, blah, 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 blah. We have to do these things together objectively. We have to. If we're ever going to move an inch further or 5 inches further or a mile further or whatever, we have to get at some point, maybe we're not ready for it now, because whenever I pose this, I always get negativity from both flat Earth and globe Earth. And whenever I say this, we have to get to a point where we collectively do things together. And so when we touch that ice wall, me and D Marble, there's a group of globe Earthers standing there like, oh my God, there really is an ice wall.
And then we'll be looking at each other like, told you. told y'all. Told you. What? Pay up.
I think that's the next level. Or maybe I'm jumping levels, but I think that's how it has to be. You do a laser experiment on a lake, it should be a joint venture with Wolfie or one of these other guys. You know what I mean? You do something and the naysayer is standing right there with you, shoulder to shoulder. It's being recorded. It's being set up together. The results are being read together. They have another guy on the other side of the lake with our guy, and there's a third party recording. We have to do that now because we don't trust each other. As long as we don't trust each other, they're never going to take anything we say seriously, and we're never going to take anything they do seriously. See, I'm at the point now where I want to, just like poker, I want to push all my chips in. I'm not doing no more little betting. I'm betting that the earth is flat. I am taking everything and pushing it in the middle of the table and saying, let's go all out. And if you guys prove that we're wrong, I got to live with it. If we prove that you're wrong, you have to work with us to do further investigation and to go after the authority.
Yeah.
We need them to go after the authority. That's the way I see it. So we can keep arguing, we can keep debating, we keep talking about how they call us flat tarts and we call them globe heads and all these silly games. At some point, people got to put up. They got to put up with shut up. You
Alex
know.
Jones did say that he'd fund it. He might have just been talking, but he did say it. He
Yeah.
said it. So
Well, he's
yeah,
serious. Let's hold him to it. You know what I mean?
yeah, we need to chat with that guy. See what's
Yeah.
going on.
Talk to the King Shield himself.
Yeah, man. I'm saying, you know, that's more stuff to do. And well, here another approach that we take in this whole thing, and this, you know,
Yeah.
I had this thought, you know, while you were talking, and I wanted to chime in. I didn't want to cut you off though. It's like I'm a musician, and one of the steps in music is to kind of leave space because it's not I mean, because you can learn scales, you can learn chords, harmonics, you know, different uh ways to pitch, tone, and all that, like rhythm and all that stuff. But there's also another component that musicians don't take into consideration, and that's to leave some space in between all that. Because if you just constantly play notes, I mean, it could just jumble up and it'll just like it just won't flow. But there's got to be space in between the beats. There's got to be space in between the melodies, the harmonics, and all that. So it's not always what's done. It's also what's not done. So the thing is in this whole discussion is looking at what's been done and what hasn't been done. One of those things that hasn't been done as far as the globe model is, look, my thing, I'm like Eddie Bravo with this. Um Look, I might switch off and believe in the globe if they can take some rockets, take a rocket, strap like a whole bunch of cameras to this thing. I want one facing up. I want one facing down. One facing in each direction. Boom, just shoot that thing straight up, and I want to see the camera facing the ground, and the ground just shrinks. It turns into a continent. It turns into a few continents, and then it turns into a ball. Like the whole live stream, record the whole thing, send the music, or not music. I'm thinking about music. Send the stream, you know, like live stream the whole event. Don't care if it takes 10 hours. What we need to see is that camera pointing down. It sees the ground, state, country, globe, bam, and then I might believe it after that. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that thing unedited, uninterrupted, full on live stream. We all just watching, glued to the screen, watching the Earth turn into a globe from a rocket being shot straight up. Then I might believe it. Until then, nah, I'm good.
I agree. I mean that is a flat Earth argument is why they would never do that because they don't want people to know it's a globe. I mean, they want people to know it's an infinite plane, you know, or a flat Earth model. You know what I mean? I mean, the problem with that is the only person that could do that, only entity that could probably do that and get away with it is NASA
Yeah,
or one of these other space agencies. But they don't give a damn. Why? Because they don't have to face us. They don't have to face the D Marbles and the Deegan Warriors of the world. Why? They are insulated with minions. We have to fight millions of minions before we could ever touch the government agency NASA. So all these people that are indoctrinated, all their minions are their protectors of people like us.
right.
You know what I mean? You don't never hear NASA coming out to face flat earthers. They don't have to because there's so many people already indoctrinated doing it.
Mhm.
So the way we flip the script is we do things that will be conclusive evidence to pull more of the minions on our side. We need those minions to get out of the way or get on our side so we can get to NASA. We can't get to NASA as long as you're insulated.
That's
So
true.
what you just said will end this discussion if they did it accurately and without the CGI and the cuts and everything in the video.
Mhm.
But they're not going to do that because they don't have to. Because one, my opinion is because they're a bunch of liars. They want us to believe it's a globe.
Mhm.
So if they, well, I got a bigger opinion about that. I don't think NASA knows the shape of the Earth.
Not everybody. Not everybody at NASA. No.
I don't
I,
think nobody knows. Nobody. You know why? Let's say there is a dome, right?
mhm.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
Well, you believe it is a dome, right? Let's say that dome will not allow you to get up high enough to see the shape of the Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so guess what? You're the space agency putting this information out to the world. You say it's a globe. Why? Because your ancestors said it was a globe. It's the Masonic order wants it to be a globe. So you say it's a globe, but they don't know. If they have the inability to get beyond low Earth orbit, they can't know the shape of the Earth. That
Yeah.
means everything else that they claim, the Hubble, the going to the moon, all that, all these probes and all this stuff are all lies because they never left low Earth orbit. They never left low Earth orbit. They can't know.
And
So
they admit it.
they assume it's a globe. I think we give them too much credit. That's my personal opinion.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. You're probably right. Hey, MTS 777. Here, put a link in the chat so I can check that out. Thank you. Um, but yeah, I mean, what we need is a larger base of people to you know come out against NASA. We need that. This, like you said, that you're right. They don't have to prove it to us because they're not feeling enough pressure from the public because there's so many people, paid and unpaid minions, coming out against us that they don't have to address us directly.
Exactly. I mean, they just changed. They just moved the goalposts. They just said that the moon is now in Earth's atmosphere. They could do whatever they want.
Right.
They could do whatever they want. They're moving they got rid of Pluto and now they're moving the moon closer to the Earth. And not one person challenges NASA. Not one. Now maybe it is somebody out there, but nobody's doing it publicly. There's no news agencies or what the hell's going on with NASA? How are they going to change this? How are they going to do this? No one's checking them. Why? Because they're all in bed. They're all, just bowing down to the wisdom of NASA. We don't. So for us to get minions to slightly see what we see, we're going to have to do stuff with them. We don't do because we can't fight them. It's too many of them. It's way too many of them. It's
Right.
ridiculous, you know. And that doesn't even include the people that's just ignorant and don't care about flat Earth or they're not even paying attention. I'm talking about the people that care. The people that's willing. It's just too many of them.
Right. The
You
ones
know?
that look into it and they're still plugged in, and I mean the ones that'll constantly come around trolling, setting up these sock accounts, or these knuckleheads on YouTube, these paid trolls who, come out and they spend every waking hour supposedly debunking this or picking apart flat Earth videos and all that.
Right.
And I mean,
So
then
what they
they're there's
so what
always something.
so what they do is because they can't really debate with us on this, other than when they attack the different models and they try to elevate theoretical science claims, and what they do is they try to decharacterize us. They try to make it seem like we're crazy. They try to make it seem like we're religious zealots. And So they try to mischaracterize us to downplay our claims so we won't be considered legitimate. That's what they're doing, you know? And I guess, I mean, not to make this a big discussion, that's one reason why I was so against Behind the Curve, because it's attacking the characteristics of what a flat earther is. It's attacking our legitimacy, you know, by, you know, incorporating the psychologists and all this. We're crazy.
Yeah,
We psychologists.
yeah.
We need to be evaluated. NASA needs, the science community needs to find a way to speak to those people over there. You know what I mean?
Right, because we've been pushed off into the fringe of society, and we weren't able to properly be integrated along the way. So we need to find a way to, let's not ostracize the flat earthers. Let's find a way to chat with them,
Yeah,
because
let's
there's
do
something
a basketball.
there's something that they're not getting, obviously, because
Right. Let's do a
all the
basketball.
science is there. I'm like, what?
Exactly. So they can't really talk to us on a scientific level because they're learning that a lot of their people are getting destroyed. You even mentioned it not too long ago when um, allegedly Dave destroyed that guy
that
publicly. You know
that
what I mean?
particle physicist, he
That,
got
that is
murdered.
happening. That's happening all over the place. You probably can't count how many people you've destroyed. I can't count how many people I've destroyed. They know they can't come at us that way. So what they do now is they make us look crazy, or they attempt to make us look crazy, to make us look like, no, don't listen to that guy. That guy's crazy. He's a vegan. You know, don't listen to this guy. He lives in his van. Don't listen to this guy. He lives with his mother in the basement. Don't listen to this guy. You know, they're trying to create a character. They're trying to turn us into characters to discredit us. That's what they're trying to do.
Right.
And, you know, because they can't do anything else.
And,
Because all we're doing is getting stronger. I'm sorry, go ahead.
and it'll work on people who aren't thinking critically. They'll sit here and try to categorize us as, the only this type of person does this. Like, it was some knucklehead. I'll say knucklehead. I'm trying to be nice because this is a future flat earther. I just know it. Says leaves a comment on one of my videos saying all flat earthers, generalizing, all flat earthers either live in their parents' basement or live in a van. I was like, wait, no, that's not true. I was just one. I'm like, Kyrie Irving does not live in a van or with his parents. I'm certain.
Oh,
Shut
but
your mouth.
he's only a basketball player. What could he possibly know?
Yeah. Absolutely not. I'm saying these people are clowns, and if they actually believe that stuff, I'm like, you got to be a troll. You can't be that dumb to generalize it to. Okay, so here, let's take it a step further. So if you're saying that all flat earthers are mentally unstable to a degree, that we have absolutely no semblance of intelligence or success in our lives, that we never quite, got what was it called? What was that called? I forget. It was some failure to launch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just didn't couldn't make anything happen in life. So this would mean, on the inverse, on the other side, that apparently everybody that believes in the globe is a Rhodes Scholar.
Right.
Every
They're
everybody
they're
everybody that I mean, they're all absolutely brilliant. Everybody that believes in the globe, they're all out, creating beautiful things. All of them are mentally stable. None of them do anything wrong. They're all about the support and upliftment of people. I mean, they never attack each other. I mean, they're just awesome, salt of the earth people. All
well,
these global believers, they are fantastic. Never done anything wrong.
well,
Cream of the
dude,
crop in
it's
society.
like the war you were in. I mean, all Muslims are terrorists. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
Taliban. They're this. You when you go to war, you have to dehumanize your opposition to get your troops to fight. So what they do is they they and there's common words that they always use too, that we're stupid, that we're
Uh,
idiots,
yep.
and that we're this and we're that. And that's because that's the war. The war is those people over there are stupid, they're idiots, and we have to um, suppress them or either change their opinion. You know, like when you talk to Tim Osmond, this guy actually believes he's on a mission to rehab flat earthers to globe earth. He actually believes, well, I think he's a paid troll, but
Hmm.
he comes off as if he's helping us. And I'm like, dude, you're not helping anyone. And I'm not even listening to you because I know you're so indoctrinated, you know?
Yeah.
But there's people like that. They like that. They really believe, or they've been conditioned to believe that we are subhuman somehow, you know, that we're different. We're not regular people, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part.
That's what they have to do. I mean, before you attack an enemy, you first have to create this enemy, and then you have to take away their humanity. So then it's justified to attack them as viciously as you can imagine. Because I mean these are subhuman type people. Basically animals. So yeah, I mean that's what they do. These people over here, they're terrorists, they're murderers, they're gassing babies in hospitals and bombing their own people.
Right.
All that type of stuff. So it's like,
Same exact strategy. It's the same
yeah,
exact, yeah.
yeah. Oh, and I had here about that. Let me see. I saw a video you put up today. I believe it was earlier today where I'm trying to remember your points about people saying that flat Earth is a psyop. Can you go over
Oh,
that for everybody? I thought that was dope.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, again, I've been a conspiracy theorist for a very long time. I would argue probably since I was a teenager during the crack epidemic in the black community. But officially, when I started calling myself a conspiracy theorist, it's probably the first World Trade Center bombing, Oklahoma City, Branch Davidian, around that time, right? Waco, Texas. And I've always watched the trends on these psyops. You know, when they do these psyops, they want the majority of the public to follow the narrative. At no time do they create psyops for the minority, you know, and if they do, I I haven't been able to really identify it. So when they roll out a psyop, they're trying to convince the public to think and act a certain way. So they're going after the 90 percentile. They're going after the 95 percentile. The more people, the better. When it comes to flat Earth, I've had several globe earthers tell me this is nothing but a psyop. This is all CIA. They rolled this out. They rolled this out. My argument is, if this is a CIA psyop, it is the worst CIA psyop ever in the history of government because we are probably right around 1 or 2% of the population. Some people will argue a little bit higher in the overall population. So this psyop is for less than 2% of the population when we know our government don't give a damn about 2%. But they give a big damn about 95% or 90% or 98% of the population. So what's
Hmm.
more likely? That flat earth is a psyop or that globe earth is a psyop when you look at it from that perspective. And when they do psyops, they do specific things to convince the public. Um, Number one, they always want to indoctrinate the children because their psyops, they want to be embedded from generation to generation to generation. They don't want to do a psyop and it doesn't have a long lasting effect. So they're going to impact the educational system. They're going to impact the media. They're going to impact maybe big agriculture or whatever the case is. they're going to do what they can to have as much influence as possible. You can't find that in flat Earth. You
Right.
can't. You know, flat Earth is grassroots, and it's a bunch of independent thinking people, people that have decided to buck the system. Now, if we're bucking the system, by the nature of bucking, how in the hell could it be a psyop? Now, could there be some people that's trying to steer the movement and shills on the inside and stuff like that? Maybe. But if they are, what are they trying to steer? They're trying to steer us away from flat Earth back to the globe, because that's where the true psyop is. The true psyop is not in flat Earth. The essence of flat Earth is not a psyop, psychological operation. Because if it is, it's failing horribly. Because the majority of people have not converted to flat Earth. That's
Hmm.
what the video was about.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, yeah, well, I need to, yeah, need to see about you talking about that, man. Because I mean, that made total sense. It's like everything you laid out there. It makes more sense because that's what they did with the globe. They like all the marketing. We always see the Globe logo on these movies and all that before we even get started. Paramount, Universal Pictures, things like that. They started with they get them hooked young. Like they do with cigarettes. You know, get the kids believing it when they're young. It's in the educational system. It's appealing to the masses. It's appealing to a much greater percentage of people that uh you know have been indoctrinated with that whole globe. So I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense that flat earth isn't the psyop. Flat earth isn't the psyop. If you go down this checklist of things that would make it a psyop, compare flat earth, what's going on in flat earth versus what's been going on with the globe, obviously the globe is the psyop.
Right.
Come
Right.
on now.
And you know what else
So
is crazy that you can add to that? Whenever
mm,
they roll out a psyop, they always bring it to you through entertainment first.
ah yeah.
So before they roll it out, example would be aliens. We've been hearing about aliens for since TVs existed, right? And it gets more real each time.
Yep.
And now everybody believes in some way, not everybody, but a high percentage of people believes that alien invasion is possible. Why is it possible? Because we've all seen it on TV. We all
Yep.
know exactly what's going to happen when the aliens come because we've seen so many different scenarios on the big screen or on TV sets. That psyop is already in place. So I almost guarantee you before we leave this world and with our old age, we're going to witness an alien invasion. There's
Hmm.
going to be a UN situation, and they're going to bring in the aliens, and the aliens are going to speak our language, and they're going to say we come in peace and this and that and blah blah blah. We're going to witness that before we die. Why? Because I've seen it on TV.
Yep. And that was those talks Ronald Reagan did in front of the UN. I
Yep.
often wonder about the idea of there being an alien threat. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold
Yep.
on now.
As soon as they feel that they can get away with it, they're going to pull it off.
Yep.
Yeah. Or maybe it'll be a little more discreet where we're going to see something and everyone's going to see it. It's not going to be just one of those UFOs where only a few people see it. It's going to be like, bang, obvious. The news got it. And it's not going to be any information. It's just we're going to witness it. And then it's going to disappear. And that's going to confirm the existence of aliens. And there ain't going to be no more information probably for another 10 years. And then all of a sudden, some guy going to walk up. I'm an alien. I'm just in your human form. And I've been amongst you guys for thousands of years, and I'm here to let you know this is the way the world's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that's gonna happen. Watch.
Right. Then they bring in their amazing technology, and people are clamoring for it. People are waiting in line to get access to this because these are advanced beings, advanced benevolent beings. And that's how it starts at first. But it ends up being to the detriment of humanity some way or another.
Yeah,
You know, yeah, I mean they'll package it as a good thing, and then it just turns out to be something totally different. So
right.
yeah, that's how it goes. They got Project Bluebeam, they got all the programming in place. They've been doing all the movies. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Men in Black.
ET.
E.T. Yeah, you know. I
It's
mean,
coming.
yeah, it's
We are
definitely
ready.
coming.
They have primed us. We are ready. You know, and the people that are really going to believe it are the younger people because
Yeah,
they were born into this idea of intergalactic travel and space and all that. With my generation, we kind of um, remember the old way of how they presented it, and we could tell it was fake, but it was still entertaining. Now it looks real. Everything looks real. You can't tell me Sandra Bullock wasn't really floating through that space station.
oh man,
That
most definitely.
that was real. You know,
Or
yeah,
Sam Bullock.
yeah. You
Old
better not
Sammy.
go
Old
there.
Sam. Hey man, I'm just saying. I saw
You
this
better-
one picture.
Really?
He was looking like there was an Adam's apple there, and I mean the strong jaw, and I don't know, dude. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Did
It's
you
rough
did
times.
you catch that 6 hour one-on-one I did with Russian vids?
Uh-uh.
Oh yeah,
I
we
didn't.
did a
I didn't. I didn't.
long.
When did that happen?
Uh, what was it last week? We did a
Oh,
long one-on-one together.
oh shoot.
Yeah,
I didn't know you did a hangout with Russian vids, man.
yeah, yeah. I've talked to Russian vids a few times over the years.
Okay. I need to chat with him. I hadn't had a talk with Russian vids. I need to have him on sometime.
Yeah,
Um.
he's the big exposed trannies guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. They call him Mister 33 because he'll sit here and be like, all right, and then there's this, and you see this name right here, and that equals 33. I'm like, there you go. That's
Absolutely.
what Russian is, man. But yeah, all right. I'm about ready to. I don't know. You about ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, man, I'm on your time.
All right, that's what's up. Um, but yeah, so we were just out here, having a discussion about the ice wall, the dome, the possibility, just kind of brainstorming session on what it is, just going up through these other topics.
Yeah. Well,
Just
I can say this one thing for everybody. If you don't know, my channel has been targeted by YouTube, and it has nothing to do with illegal content or anything like that. They are like on a daily basis censoring the heck out of my page. And what I mean by that, they I upload videos and it'll just be blank. I got about 3 or 4 videos like that I've uploaded. And they took away my rights to do live streams. They took away my rights to upload videos.
what?
So what I've been doing is I've been premiering my old videos because I know they're about to take down the channel because this is what they did on my third channel when they took it down. This is going to be the fourth channel that they're taking down. It usually lasts for about a week, and then out the blue they shut down my channel. That's what they normally do. I've already opened up my new channel, and it's Vegan Warrior Truth. So if anybody want to subscribe and go there, as soon as I get enough numbers up, I'm gonna start live streaming every day all over again. So they shut
Man,
me down, I instantly open up a new one. That's how I do. Me
all
and
right.
YouTube got this love-hate relationship thing going on. So
Yeah, man. Shoot. Yo, again, as always, man. When it goes down, I'll be directing people to your new channel. I've done that a few times before, man. So, you know,
yeah,
I got
oh,
you. I got you. Um,
I
yeah,
think
man.
they I think they don't like the fact I don't care.
That could be it. That could be it. It's hard to hold
They
somebody
want me
down
to
that
care.
you're like whatever. Just pop up
Right.
another one. Get right back
Yep,
to it.
exactly. My new channel, I've already uploaded 2 videos. One is a live stream with me and Tim Osmond. I destroy him. He gets mad and he runs away. I uploaded that one. And It's something else on that channel that's new that I put on there. So I got 2 videos on the new channel already that people haven't seen.
Yeah. All right.
So
True. And yeah. All right. So yeah, keep doing your thing. Like you said, y'all go over sub to Vegan's new channel. That's Vegan Warrior Truth. Yeah, look for that. If one of the mods can put the link in the chat, that'd be great. So folks can get over there and subscribe and continue supporting my man over here.
oh, it's all good. They
Yes,
can't
sir.
stop.
Yes,
See,
sir.
I even did a video and told them, I said, y'all can shut me down all you like. All I'm gonna do is go on everybody else's platform and talk shit. So
Hey, yeah, you got a spot here. You got a spot here. So shoot. That's the thing, man. That's part of why I was like, man, yo, hey, you want to be my co-host or something? You know, because they keep trying to shut you down. I'm like, man, you can come over here and talk to my people. It's whatever. You know, our subscribers kind of overlap, so it is what it is. You
yeah,
know,
it's all good.
I'm not gonna let them silence you as long as I got a platform. So, all right, man, we're gonna get up out of here. I don't know. We'll probably. I don't even know what to chat about tomorrow, man. As far as the wrap up goes, I'll find something. Maybe
Yeah,
on
it's
my
up.
lunch break.
Just send me a link. Let me know when you're ready.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Well,
brother.
well. All right, man. Have a good night. Special shout out to Seth Bob, Miss Empress, Gartrell McKinney, and Jeremy Walker. Sure, do appreciate you all. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. Hope you have a good night. We'll be back for the wrap up tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So appreciate you all. As always, be good to each other. Take care of yourself. Stay flat. See you next time. Thank you.
All right. Peace.